Marina Driftcove drew her first breath at the edge of moonlit water on 15 August 1999 inside a clapboard cottage propped on cypress stilts above the emerald shallows of Florida's Crystal River. Outside, manatees bumped the dock in slow greeting, while her mother, a roving bossa nova trumpeter who keeps pressed orange blossom petals inside her valve oilcloth, played a sleepy scale that made chipped teacups vibrate on the sip. Her father, a night shift marine marker engraver who sketches cloud rays on pizza boxes while he waits for tide updates, leaned so close their freckles merged and promised his newborn that tiki bar gossip, locker hall wisecracks, and shop rack stopping at 14 would always step aside for any soul daring enough to occupy her outline completely. Curves have flowed through the Driftcove line since her great-great-grandmother rewove shrimp net into gowns for river festivals. So no one panicked when baby Marina popped her second muslin swaddle long before the kettle whistled. Granny Calliope threaded a dock rope needle through every tear, patched a gap with triangles cut from an old sailboat jib, and laughed at an extra fistful of fabric cost pennies while teaching a child to shrink might cost her entire horizon of dawns. Kindergarten hallways smelled of pencil shavings, vanilla custard drifting from the kitchen hatch, and brackish breeze sneaking under stubborn louvers. Marina already topped her classmates by half a head and eclipsed the projector glow whenever she traced manatee sanctuaries on the pulled-down atlas. One humid recess, two boys hopped skip circles, chanting "Fairy Barge," with every thud her rubber sandals left on the chalk squares. That twilight she wandered the tide line, collected soda caps polished satin by surf, threaded them on fishing leader, stitched the railing stripe down her sea glass hoodie, and strode into class at dawn, scattering prism freckles across ceiling tiles the color of low clouds. A substitute aide captured 9 shaky seconds on a prepaid flip phone, uploaded the shimmer to a baby video site, and by lunch 15,000 strangers applauded the girl who welded ridicule into lighthouse shine. Marina penciled a vow beside subtraction drills in dusty violet. Clouds cluster only until you flash them bright enough to scatter. Beacons belonged to Kings Bay Pier, where her mother's trumpet solos tangled with diesel coughs from tour boats, skillet hiss from hush puppy stands, and gulls debating over mullet scraps. Toward jeans jammed at Marina's thighs, so she traded tip jar quarters for sun-bleached gill net, unraveled it into rope, crocheted high-rise culottes, dusted them with airbrushed tarpon silhouettes, and posed at mango sunset against rust-flecked palings, while her cousin snapped grainy shots on a borrowed camera. She posted every frame to a diary she christened Lantern Flow. The same week, a photo app began fluttering across patchy coastal towers. Captions slipped between river slang and crisp truths like curves anchor gale gusts steadier than sea walls. Before her 16th birthday, 52,000 unseen friends tapped tiny hearts on each amber frame. Evidence that glowing rectangles hush cafeteria whispers faster than any coach whistle. A coastal engineering scholarship ferried her to the University of Central Florida. Daylight disappeared in turbine basins. Nights belonged to a 24-hour comforter truck glowing neon papaya beneath live oak shadows. The heat lamp served as her single softbox. Between fritter orders, she filmed 90-second reels, folding parchment into jasmine hairpins while decoding dart rotation in half lecture flash, half shoreline lull. One upload overlaid dolphin chirps on a lo-fi beat as she chain-stitched reflective anchor braid into thrift store denim. 48 hours later, the counter skimmed beyond 1.3 million. Gulf Coast fashion pages crowned her the fritter couturière, yet every sponsor message stalled at size 16. She archived each pitch in a folder stamped shrinking nets, wiped powdered sugar off her cuff, and flipped another fritter. October Storm Drills delivered an email from Columbia Sportswear inviting her to co-design a spray shell capsule named Spring-Fed Pulse. She answered with 3 peer-steady terms. Patterns must climb to 60-inch hips, half the creative crew hire from community college design cohorts, 10% of net profit pledged to manatee rescue centers from Homosassa to Blue Spring. Columbia signed before dawn blushed the laugh skylight coral. The shoe opened on a clear sand bar where newborn loggerheads sketched commas toward glass water. Marina coached paddleboarders of every radius across mirror swells, while a drone traced lazy infinity ribbons overhead. When the lookbook landed, every extended size shell vanished in 41 hours across 32 nations. Lantern flow vaulted beyond 700,000 lanterns. Powdered sugar still lay on her wrist from an overnight churro sprint as she balanced her phone on a rice sack, ducked behind flour barrels, and live-streamed tear-bright thanks beneath buzzing fluorescence. Pause it, sir, for a call to action 1. Slap that subscribe button right now. One soft tap locks your rail seat so next week's voyage sails into your feet before algorithm tides can shift. Head to the description whenever curiosity nudges. A discreet link waits there, a research-type guide that maps the quickest route to real attraction and shows any genuine soul how to cultivate romantic gravity with the woman he dreams about. Spotlight shimmer pool rumor pelicans. A clickbait vlog claimed Marina laced steel plates around her waist under spring-fed pulse shells. At dawn, she paddled a cedar board beyond eelgrass ribbons, stood surefoot in linen shorts and sports top, traced every silver stretch mark with crushed bougainvillea petals, and blew a trumpet riff so raw, pelicans froze mid-glide. 10 million reposts titled Bougainvillea Proof, dusted, fuchsia pollened over their own curves, till gossip drifted like silt beyond the channel. Brittle cart wages sprayed it with capsule royalties and whipped into Driftcove butter. A whipped custard folding Tupelo honey cream, key lime seed oil, and mica sparks that glow seashell white under any flash. 19,010s cooled on her father's chart bench, lids tied with braided castnet rope, each tag stamped "Moisturize Your Horizon." Inventory drained in 82 minutes, lifting $198,000, 20% planted beacon grants, shipping industrial surgers and hydrophones to plus-size teens in shoreline schools from Tarpon Springs to Tampa Bay. 8 months later, 36 grant teams streamed a floating fashion and dolphin harmony gala aboard a retro shrimp trawler strung in solar bulbs, dawn color leaking into classrooms from Kingston to Kyoto. Afflater Pier Fashion Night wrote Fresh Jetty legend when a backstage vent shredded her aquamarine mesh gown from hip to knee, 90 heartbeats before runway. Marina ripped neon dock rope off a light brace, laced the gap like hiking hooks, and walked as if the splice had always sat in the sketch margins. Camera shutters cracked like kettle corn. Vogue Tropic crowned the save rope cadence, while another million lantern sparks lit before steel drums shook the after-party dock. Trouble circled again when a former aide leaked cropped emails suggesting she demanded lobster roll towers and chauffeured airboats for her rescue egret orbit. She posted the entire thread. Refillable water urns, lentil stew for crew, caption tablets for deaf stylists, then funneled that month's affiliate tie, $136,000, into biodegradable crab trap pilots. Along the Chassahowitzka Marsh, fans repeated her pair mantra receipts glow brighter than rumor grit until whispers flatten like calm tide pools. Family anchors her compass. Twice every month she streams Porchline Groove. Mom layers soulful chords beside a propane griddle. Dad recites cloud haiku. Marina flips thrift denim while Orbit waddles through powdered sugar. One broadcast climbed past 9 million views when the bird sneezed glitter across the lens. A wildlife refuge now sponsors every stream, tagging rehabilitated egrets with solar beacons paid by Driftcove butter sales. Butter revenue crested above $12 million before the second equinox. She leased a quiet fish pecking shed, cut skylights through corrugated tin, hired furloughed deckhands plus design grads to whip custard and knotlets by hand during midday brass house sesh breaks. Auditors begged for shrink bands. She quoted Granny Calliope. Fingertips hold legend longer than plastic snaps, and rope ties stayed. Her feed lives honest sky. Basalt Ridge portraits sit beside frittered truck selfies. Caption, same sky, different tide. She shares breath loops recorded in sinkhole caves, printable resilience pages in English and Spanish. Codes for a slide and scale therapy, 3 swipes down. 134,000 readers call her shoreline candor their first calm harbor. Community glow rides sparkle under crushed shell flecks. Hundreds petal sunset causeways wearing Driftcove butter on collarbones and LED seagrass tassels whirling from spokes. Ticket proceeds thicken beacon grants and build wheelchair snorkel lifts over clear springs. Chowder Hut Simmer Lake conch stew bowls jump 15% on ride nights. Marina pedals lead on a vintage cruiser with Orbit plush clips front, pausing to lace any rider's dragging sneaker. She is tightening a memoir named Currents Keep Names, bound for 11 language shelves next spring, while a documentary crew tracks her dream to weld retired buoy chains into floating maker labs for coast schools. Puma's Y2Way Wave Lantern sneaker launches next quarter, threaded with reflective rope and cushioned by algae foam, steering 10% of revenue into Beacon nurseries all along the Gulf Rim. Second wave of persuasion now. If your subscribe badge still shows bright red, nudge it to peaceful gray this instant. One gentle press locks next week's tide into your notifications before social currents scatter it. Reminder, the Love Science link in the description will always open for you, and it already helped thousands kindle unwavering connection. Playback slows toward slack water, fresh tins of Driftcove butter, Beacon Grant portals, tonight's Porchline playlist, and that calm, confident compass are waiting in the description, open and free. If the soda cap spine shimmer, rope lace gown rescue, or orbit glitter sneeze stirred even half a grin, tap like, drop your brightest ripple in the comments, and share this crossing with a friend whose cells hang slack. Every curve redirects currents, every scar refracts lighthouse beams, and the shoreline bows to anyone bold enough to plant 2 certain boots on the pier and greet tomorrow eyes wide. Final breath across the mic. Subscribe right now, claim your rail. Explore the love link tucked below, and join me on the next rising tide when a new tale glimmers just beyond the breakers, and courage quietly sings your name again.